Welcome to the Freedom Finders podcast. I'm Timothy, a Christian financial coach. My mission is to help young Christians become wise with money so they build a life of wealth and purpose. Today, first I want to ask you, spooky background. What do you think? You like skeleton? I'm at my sister's house and we've had a big Halloween party. Anyways, but that's not the question. The question is, what if patience is the single habit that separates you from feeling poor to building real wealth? I've I've done my research in the Bible and I find patience is a very huge factor in the Bible. Patience is one of the fruits of the Spirit. I can't remember exactly, but I believe there's either nine or there's seven fruits of the Spirit. Patience is something that God wants us to develop, and patience is probably the least favorite characteristic that anybody could have. If you've ever heard the saying, don't pray for patience, 'cause it will come. Yeah, people don't like being tested on patience, but in order to be that one percenter, that the man or woman with wealth and purpose and really building something great in life, we have to have some patience. So I want to talk about that today. So today, you'll be getting a biblical case on patience, what it is, what are the other fruits. No, I'm not going to cover that. What is patience? How does it relate to money? You also get some practical steps to grow patience. And I also got a small list of immediate habits that you can try today to improve your finances and your mission, your purpose. Now, personal story. There was a time, well, actually, there's a time right now. If I'm going to talk about some patience or needing of patience or impatience, in my life, there's a little story of right now. I am doing these podcast episodes. I am posting stuff all over social media, which if you want to go check me out, you can find me at Timothy Smith Coach. And I'm just going through a big season where I am waiting for success, as I call it. And so, waiting for success. And that requires patience. And I am in the trial, I am in the fire, and God is burning out the childish, the immature, the lack of patience in me while I focus on my work and diligently wait on Him to provide my success. I actually have a money moment. I'd like to confess that I didn't do so well with money fairly recently. This happened a couple months ago. And so it's just a moment that I had impatience that led to a bad money choice that y'all could probably relate to. There was a time I was buying a fancy, I want to call it a journal. It was a notebook. It was a planner. I was buying a fancy planner um, from Full Focus. It looked something like this, but a lot more unique. Anyways, it was like a $60 planner. I bought some other stuff for me and my wife. And just as I was hitting the checkout on their online store, the place is called Full Focus, by the way. If you want to check out their store, they have great stuff. Um, just as I was checking out on their store, they hit me with here's a $99 courses. It had like three or four courses related to entrepreneurs and business owners. and it said the original value was like $1,300, and if you buy it in the next 5 minutes, it's only $100. Of course, my eyes lit up, and I was like, "Ooh, I need to buy that." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh," I'm thinking, and part of me realized, "Oh, they're trying to get me." Because I knew how this worked. I was like, "Oh, they're trying to get." And then I was looking at it, it was like 98% off, and I was thinking like all I could think was compared to the actual value, the cost that I'm paying is significantly less and it will be significantly more beneficial. Right? Right? Everybody thinks that. Here's the thing. I have not used any of the material from that $100 worth of courses. So it has been a complete waste. And so that has been my blunder of money. So that's something I had to confess. Um, but we can all be impatient. We, so yeah, we can all be impatient. We have to learn how to build patience, how to, as the Bible calls it, I believe in King James Version, calls it long suffering. The New King James Version and many others call it patience, but the older versions call it long suffering because we have to go through long suffering to get what is good for us. Now, if we can build patience, we can waste less, we can stress less, we can save more, and we can build wealth faster. So let's figure out how to build patience. What is it according to the Bible? How does it apply to our finances? And again, simple steps to build patience. So let's get into the video. Now let's read James 1 verses 2 through 4. I actually have quite a few verses here that we're going to go through, and I'm really excited for this part because I'm honestly learning here right next to you. So James 1 verses 2 through 4, it reminds us that testing produces endurance. I find endurance to be a theme alongside patience. That endurance matures our faith and our stewardship. So let me just go ahead and read it. James 2, verse 4, starting with 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that testing of your faith produces patience. There's the word. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And I love this because if anybody knows me, two things that I'm big on is wisdom and freedom. Give wisdom, give freedom. That's what I aim to do. In the very next verse, I'm not going to read it, but it says, if any of you lack wisdom, ask God who gives abundantly. Now, patience testing produces perseverance and it produces maturity. Let patience have its perfect work, meaning I'm not exactly sure what that means, to be honest. Let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. The word is so rich and so full, but I know this much. We need patience. I know that much. Um, so like I said, I am here learning right beside you. Now, here I want to read, this is the next one. This is Galatians 5, chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. This talks about the fruits of the Spirit. So we can go ahead and we can get into what all those fruits are and um and kind of what they are. Now, it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, which it's also known as long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Yeah, I got 9. So there's 9 fruits of the Spirit. And it says, against these things there is no law. So against the fruits of the Spirit, there is no law. In the Old Testament, they were governed by laws. If they sinned, they had to give sacrifice. But against these, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, there is no law against that. And patience being one of the fruits. I want to make a whole series over this, but for right now, patience is a key factor. Get this, is a key characteristic of God. Otherwise, he wouldn't call it a fruit of the Spirit. So, if anything, grab onto that. Now, here's the next verse, Proverbs. I love Proverbs. Proverbs is the book of wisdom, and Proverbs says a little bit about patience in a way. Proverbs 21, verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty," hasty meaning impatient, "surely to poverty." Those who are in a rush, those who are impatient, those who are like, I'm going to make $1,000 tonight, even though I've never done it, or whatever. I know that used to be me, the whole getting into these schemes of, oh, you can make $500 in 15 minutes if you just do this, this, and this, and then it's like it never works, and I would stop falling for it. But the plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty. And no, it didn't necessarily say that you were going to have to wait a long time. I'm very grateful for that. You probably are, but those who are hasty will not, those who are hasty will be poor. They will be led to poverty. Now, next one, this is the last one. So I know I gave you a lot of verses, and it's just because I wanted to get different perspectives within the Bible about patience here. Um, this is Hebrews 10, verse 36. This is where I was talking about endurance. It says, "For you have need of endurance, so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise." We have to endure God's will. And if we, uh, um, Paul talks about like running this race with endurance, this race of life. And here he says that, we need endurance, we need patience, we need long suffering for the times that things are difficult, and they're going to continue to be difficult for a long time, so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise. So endurance is key. Endurance is right alongside patience. I would even replace that word with patience, because it is proven that the fruit of the Spirit is the core, that's the foundation. Endurance is just a label over patience. So there's all that. I think it's wonderful stuff. Let me check my time. 6. Okay. So God uses delays, limitations, and seasons. I like to think trials by fire. Many of y'all would understand that. Of waiting to form character, to form holiness in us. Not that we'll ever be perfect while we're here, but we can be more like Him, that can steward greater resources and responsibilities. It's also, He builds us up also we can do more, and we can do greater things for Him. It feels weird saying that because we don't need to, but He invites us to. That's the truth. He invites us to do that. That's why you see, yes, you can be wealthy, you can be rich, you can do all these great things, and you can do it for the glory of God. He will actually bless you along the way. So, so I mean, I hope my life is evident of that. Moving on. Here are some practical teachings. Um, The core idea behind this is patience is a wealth building lever because it cultivates discipline in savings, investings, and the many other ways that we have to handle money, that we have to manage money. As I would think of it this way, patience helps you become a wise manager with money. So here are the four pillars. Four practical ways patience pays off in money. We got flow decisions, margin, compound patience, and patient purpose. These are what these are kind of these four pillar. They're really just more like themes or big ideas that we can go about. So here's number one. Slow decisions, better outcomes. There's a saying that fast is slow and slow is fast. That is a rather somewhat common saying when it comes to the average millionaire, from what I know. Not fast is slow and slow is fast. I even know some great like people who would like hustle, 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 and they realize what gives the shortest, what gives the least amount of short-term benefits gives the most amount of long-term benefits. And I mean, this podcast, I'm not going to see any views from it for probably a long time, but one day eventually it will explode. So I hope you're seeing me from then. Here's slow decisions, better outcomes. And here's kind of I'm going to go about this by explaining the habit behind that rule, and I'll explain why it matters. Here's the habit. Implement a 24-hour rule for purchases above a set threshold. I know some good people who would simply just call it the power of sleeping on it. Some examples for that threshold would be I would love to give you a dollar amount, but I really can't. It's really based off of your income. It's really based off of, and it's based off of how much you are personally okay with spending at a time. Um, and so like I remember honestly just the other day, my wife called me. She works at this little coffee shop, and she called me and she asked me if it was okay for her to buy something there. And my only response was, is in the budget. It was in the budget, blah, blah, blah. But the point was, she felt uncomfortable about spending that money without some sort of permission. I love that she asked, but enough about that on our relationship. That's kind of like the idea of slower decisions, better outcomes. I've had quite a handful of times she's done that. I said, is it in the budget? And it was not in the budget. And so that created resistance from overspending on stuff that we don't need to spend. You need to do the same thing. You might be sitting on $100, you might have just spent $100 on something, you might have just spent $1,000 on something that you may regret. And simply just putting some time between that drive to buy and the actual spend can eliminate a lot of the unnecessary motivation and can bring back our logic into it. A saying that I started doing is everybody wants the shiny new car, but nobody wants the payments. Putting that time in allows us to see what the payment is compared to the shiny new car. So for those who are like thinking, I'm going to get a shiny new car this weekend, I hope you're sitting on it. Sit on it. Sleep on it. Now, second rule is called margin over momentum. And the habit here is simply build an emergency fund. A starter emergency fund could be anywhere between 500 to $1,000. You would be surprised how many people don't have that. I think it was reported that like 50, I think it was about, yeah, it was about 45% of Americans do not have a emergency fund, do not even have a $1,000 emergency fund. And so this can help create, let me just explain it this way. This margin that you set up will allow for better opportunities. It will give you room to wait on better opportunities and avoid high interest reactive borrowing, like a short payday loan of $100 and then having to pay, 110, $120, $130 next week because you simply didn't have that buffer in. And you got the whole stress going through it. And just simply creating that margin between you and life gives you time to wait. And honestly, it does so much more than just patience, but it is a part of it. So that's why I added it in here. Now, here is the third rule, which is called compound patience. And this kind of relates to savings and investings. Here's the habit for you. Automate at least one small reoccurring transfer into a investment account, a retirement account, into a savings account. And this is powerful, one, because you don't have to, I mean, outside of just the patience thing, you don't have, it's easier. It's easier. The power of easy, it's easier to invest into your future. You don't notice it, even if it's $50 a month, you don't notice it. And so, but the reason why is if you start it now, if you do it now, patience of simply jumping into the market, as I would say, investing, whatever, jumping into the market as soon as you can is better than timing the market for maximum efficiency. The best efficiency you can get is simply starting the day. Um, of course, not everybody's ready to invest. You need to get into a position where you can be ready to invest, which, uh, shameless plug-in, I can help you with that. Just hire me as a coach. I might leave a link in the description or something. I don't know. Or just message me, email me, whatever. Um, but yeah, simply time in the market beats timing the market. Patience multiplies this modest, consistent actions, and it'll turn it into real wealth. Simply just being in there longer will give you more likability to build real wealth. So just simply be in there and wait. I know stocks go up, stocks go down. You want to move money around, let it sit in there. It's flowing, it's multiplying. Just let it sit. Sit on it, sleep. And if you get like that, just sleep on it. Go back to rule one. And here's the final rule, rule number four, which is patience in purpose. And I got a special bonus at the end of this one that I want to share with you. It's completely free. So the core idea behind this is to simply plan your future. So one, you have a target to aim for, and two, be patient in the growing of that future. I have a bunch of big future plans for me, and it's very easy to get frustrated because I'm like, I've done all this work. This is not working. We just have to be patient. We have to wait. And so something that can help is creating a future plan. One, so you have a target. Two, so you can see the progress along the way. That makes it a little easier to wait. Um, but really, okay, so the habit here that I want you guys to understand is something along the lines of this. You can create a 1 year and a 5 year plan focused on your personal skills, your personal network, your connections, and the spiritual formation. I like to think of character here, going back to the fruits of the spirit, rather than quick promotions on your job and cash grabs, quick, easy money. What is quick will wear off, and what takes delayed gratification will build you up later. So, and this matters because, I mean, like I just said, it all really, this whole patience thing all really comes down to this. Fast is slow, and slow is fast. If you build it quickly, you'll have to restart. You'll have to go back and fix your mistakes. If you build slowly, carefully, build on a foundation, which here is patience, it will be much faster in the long run, even though it feels slow now. So, and here's that special bonus I want to share with you. This is the life planner that I use. This isn't mine. I'm not selling you anything. Nobody asked me to send it to you. I just need you to know. If you go to heroonamission.com, you will find Donald Miller's Hero on a Mission free planner, which is based off of his book, Hero on a Mission. So go check out that free planner. It covers your 1 year goal, 5 year goals, 10 year goals, your kind of like your life mission, daily, your daily like plans, your daily goals, and honestly a lot more. And so I wake up every morning. I do my best to do it, even when I don't do it that day. The point is, I wake up every morning. I know what I need to do for the day. I know why I wake up, so I'm not snoozing my alarms. I'm happy to get up. I'm happy to go to work. And so I want you guys to feel the same way. So go check that out. HeroOnAmission.com and go get the free planner. Now, patience is best described as what to do in the meantime. And just a little example, say there's two men, they're challenged with the same thing. One guy gets back to work and does what he can in the challenge, and the other guy just complains. Let me ask you this. Who do you think God will bless? Who do you think God will bless? I don't need to tell you the answer. You know the answer. Better question, which man do you want to be? Something to think about. Now, I kind of already gave you some habits, but that's not actually what I was talking about. That was kind of like a rule of thumb, a habit related to it. Now we're going to go to in things that you can actually do today. So here's a short list of actions you can take today to, boost your wealth, build patience, and build patience when handling money. My apologies. I want you guys to try the one that sticks out to you the most because, anyways, just try something on here. Try something. Even if nothing sticks out to you, try something. So, here's some daily micro practices. These are short, these are repeatable. This one is called a breath and prayer pause. Before financial decisions, just take 60 seconds and kind of meditate on it, pray on it. If you can name the motive, name the reason why, also name how you're feeling in that moment. It allows your logical brain to catch up to your emotional brain so that way you don't make a rash decision. I studied a lot of this like psychology stuff because I find it so fascinating. And yeah, basically, if we could stay logical all the time, we would be like superhumans, but we're not because we're wrapped up in this flesh that has emotions. And so this practice gives you the opportunity to rein in the mastermind that's in here before you get caught up in something that you don't need to be in. And here's the second one. It's called the delay rule, which I've already gone over it. It's a 24-hour rule for large purchases. Again, just if you're out there thinking, oh, I want to buy this, buy that, new piece of furniture, new console, new computer, uh, phone, car, there's so much stuff you can buy nowadays. Um, if it feels uncomfortable, sleep on it. If it feels it's just if it feels really exciting, you need to sleep on it because that is that motivation that says I can have this now. And so having some delayed gratification can help us see that, oh, I didn't actually need that. I need that money for this. And like that's not the mission that I'm on right now, whatever it is. Here's another thing. It is called this isn't this isn't really a daily habit, but it's called the weekly margin check. Just a short 15-minute review of cash flow every Sunday. Or honestly, you can choose whichever day. It could be today if you want. You can go ahead and check that out today. Just review what your cash has been doing, review where it's going. I personally try to set time every week. I think it's like a Monday or a Tuesday morning. I try to review me and my wife's budget so I can like kind of see where things have gone, how things are going. Is there anything that we need to change? Um, Usually not, but if anything, it helps keep me fresh in the mind of I need to manage this money. And so by being more intentional with it really just it changes a lot. So that's a good thing to try. And this last one of the daily micro habits, I love this one. It involves other people. So so introverts, you're just going to have to suck it up and try it, or I guess you can try something else. Warm up to this one. It's called accountability confession. Share your money decisions with a trusted friend or a mentor. If you're in one of those moments where you're like, I want to buy this, I want to do that, I want I want to do this in 6 months, 3 months, whatever. I want to save up $10,000. I want to buy this $10,000 car, whatever. If you're on the fence, kind of, it's good to go talk to other people. Proverbs says, "Iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another." And so it's hard to tell if you're dull when you're always cutting with the same blade. You don't notice if you're getting dull. So if you go and talk to somebody else and they grind against you, they sharpen you, and they realize you might realize, oh, they're sharp, and they sharpened me, or you realize, oh, they're dull, and I do know what I'm doing. Either way, talking to somebody else, whether you realize that they're actually dumb or they're really smart, helps a lot because we are designed for connection. We're not designed to. It's good to get that other perspective. Ultimately, that's what I'm getting to. Getting that other perspective. Now, those are the daily habits. Here are some weekly habits you can try just to dive a little deeper. One, is kind of just a monthly audit of your money. Review I would think of this as like building the budget. Just every month review the if your spending aligns with your values. Um, because the world, it's really easy for the world to get inside our personal finances and then kind of move it where it wants us to be. Um, for example, in my personal life, it's honestly I'm not making a whole lot of money, and it's so easy for me to go out and do something that would make me money now, when in reality I need to focus more on the business that will grow later and it'll grow faster. So I'm teaching myself patience right here with y'all. Um, but yeah, just kind of align with your values. Is your money going where you value? If you really cherish time with friends and you really need to connect back with those people, take some money and put it towards time with friends. If you need to reconnect with your spouse, schedule some date nights, say I mean, and dates don't have to be that expensive. Me and my wife go on dates for like 40, $50 a date. And if we really want to, we can go $100 and go eat some sushi or something because we love sushi. My gosh, I miss some sushi. And it's yeah, just go try that and go see what it does in your life. And lastly, here's kind of just a list of tools that you can try when managing your money. One is envelopes. Put cash in an envelope. You label it. You can label it gas, groceries, whatever. And basically, when the envelope is empty, you can't spend any more money because there's no more money in the envelope. Two is automations, kind of the opposite of envelopes, but these are more specific for like savings, investings, um, automatic bill payouts. So you can schedule the so bills come out earlier than they need to. That way you're not stressing out about um, bills piling up all on like a bad day in the month or something like that. Budget apps. I use EveryDollar, or you can go to everydollar.com. It's the best budget app I've seen, but you can use other things because we all use our phones every day. And so it's really easy to get into a budget app that is on your phone that is honestly probably with you 24/7. And I like this last one. You can simply just journal. Journaling is awesome. It allows us to put our minds on paper, or you can do it digitally, better on paper. Put your mind on paper, and it allows you to organize your thoughts. So you can kind of make a simple patience journal, and here's a couple ideas, just like, what have I been really patient about today? And then there's other things like, what did I not have control of today? Why is that okay? Am I still on track with my goals? Whatever. I mean, journaling in general is great, but think of it in the terms of patience, building up your character. You can also just simply ask, how could I have been more patient today? How can I be more patient today? So, I mean, try these things. Pick one. Uh, you're not going to get wiser if you don't try something. So you got to try something. So as much as you want to pour that knowledge in here and think that you're good, you got to pour it in here and then you got to use it through these hands. So there's all that. Now, I want to say, I know I just said, hey, do something. Here is why. If you take action on developing yourself to have more patience, it will deepen your peace. You will You'll probably have less debt as you're more diligent on paying it off. If you have debt, you'll be growing in giving because you can be patient in delaying your own goals while you're charitable towards feeding others' goals. There's so many great charities and missions that honestly need your money, and they're doing such great work, but they need your money. They need our money, not just yours. They need my money. And having more patience gives us a clearer calling because we can reach for something that is way out there and we can be patient with God as we slowly work and build up to that place. Whatever it may be. You want to be a billionaire. I mean, you can slowly build up to that pace. And biggest thing here when it comes to patience is compounding financial growth. I believe, if I remember the statistic correctly, the average person going from zero to millionaire takes about 15 years. You need some patience. You need some patience to build wealth. And so it's if we do not have a character that can maintain and grow our resources, then we can't have those resources in the first place. Or if you're lucky enough to get it, you're going to lose it just as fast. That's why I remember looking this up, like 95% of those who win the Powerball, who win the lottery, go bankrupt. Why? They do not have the character to maintain that money. They've spent thousands of dollars all their lives, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars all their lives to win a lottery ticket. And then, as fast as they would spend those lottery tickets, that's as fast as they spent the lottery itself. That's why so many of them go into bankruptcy. And that's why fast is slow and slow is fast. Now, patience lets you trade anxiety for confident stewardship. I want you guys to walk over that. Patience lets you trade anxiety for confident stewardship. If you have this patience, you will have all of that. Now, to recap, patience is a spiritual discipline that fosters financial wisdom, prevents financial traps, and prepares you for faithful stewardship. God is trying to grow us. Doing this builds capacity in yourself for generosity and purpose. I don't like saying the word calling because it feels weird. You are designed to do great things. And I don't believe that it's personally a God has called me to do this. It's more so God has designed you to be best at this. And then sometimes that wears off and that mold gets transferred into a different direction. So these things change over time. Um, kind of lost my spot. But anyways, moving on. Ignoring this message that you hear here, ignoring these things to develop your patience, risk you going further in debt, further into mental stress, and just more and more missed opportunities piling up at your feet because you didn't simply reach down and pick one up. There's opportunities everywhere. There's 2025. If you're listening to this, it means you have more opportunity than most do in the world. I'll simply say it that way. Now, thank you for listening. Um, please subscribe to this Abbasid newsletter. Please subscribe to this podcast, the Freedom Finders podcast. Please leave a review if you liked it and you believe it deserves that. And feel free to share this episode with a friend, uh, someone who you think might need this kind of message. And always please feel free to comment below what you like about the episode. Um, just let me know what you're thinking. Give me your thoughts. I want to get questions together to make a Q&A episode for you guys. So, anyways, this is the Freedom Finders podcast. I'm Timothy, a Christian financial coach. My mission is to help young Christians become wise with money so they build a life of wealth and purpose. So, anyways, thank you for listening, and I will teach you more in the next episode.